What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex. You're watching the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things that matter to me in the world of movies. A lot of productions going on and a lot of sequels. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jerry Bruckheimer and how he wants to get a lot of his sequels on the fast track. And what he's got going on is that he wants to get Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and Beverly Hills Cop 4 to start filming later this year. Eddie Murphy's good to go with regards to Beverly Hills Cop 4, and with regards to Pirates 5, they're just waiting for the script to be completed and finalized, which is almost done. And if that's good to go, then Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and Beverly Hills Cop 4 could be filming later this year, which suggests that it will be released in 2016, sometime in 2016, most likely a summer of 2016 release, because these are some big summer tentpole films. And with regards to other productions and sequels from Jerry Bruckheimer, he says that National Treasure 3, the third installment of the National Treasure franchise, has their first act written. Their first act is complete. A film is made up of 3 acts: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Excuse me, Act 3, and the first act is complete in the writing process. So it shows you that things are definitely moving forward. With regards to Bad Boys 3, they're still working on a script. They want to get a really good script out there. They don't want a repeat of the second one. But the biggest challenge is getting Will Smith on board. And I'm sure that Will Smith wants to do it, but the problem is that he's just a really busy man. So scheduling and locking him in for the filming of this movie is just the most biggest challenge. So hopefully that gets worked out, because I would love to see another installment in the Bad Boys franchise. But it really tells you that Jerry Bruckheimer looks like he's reaching out to his sequels. All right, he's reaching out to the films and the franchises that made him a lot of money, or made the studios a lot of money, and those are just surefire hits. So the sequels are happening sooner than later. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about comic book movies, and let's talk about Batman vs. Superman. At least that's what they're calling it right now, and it's essentially the Man of Steel 2 sequel. It's the Man of Steel sequel, which is Man of Steel 2. Anyways, Hans Zimmer will be scoring Batman vs. Superman, which is exciting. He scored the last one, and it was a really good album. I mean, I thought that the score was great. I have the album. I listen to it all the time. In fact, I just finished listening to it an hour ago. And that really excites me that Hans Zimmer is scoring Batman vs. Superman. I just wanted to put that out there. Moving on, let's talk about a Steven Spielberg production, and that would be Goonies 2. Richard Donner wants to direct Goonies 2. I mentioned this in the last video, and he wants to bring back the entire cast, the entire original cast of the Goonies. And apparently Steven Spielberg has a story, and what that really means is that, I mean, he's not writing the film, but he has a story. It's a story pitch, rather. It's kind of like what Steven Spielberg pitched to Michael Bay for Transformers, and that was A Car and His Boy. That's a story pitch. He's got a story pitch for the Goonies, and that's absolutely confirmed, meaning that Richard Donner can start moving forward with getting the writing process worked on. Like, they can start that process. So very, very cool. I mean, to know that that's happening. I guess the biggest challenge is trying to get all those original actors together, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to make this work. So Goonies 2 could be happening, and I hope it happens soon. All right, moving on, let's talk about another sequel, and that is the sequel rather to Resident Evil. Another sequel, that would be Resident Evil 6, which they're tentatively calling Resident Evil Rising. Resident Evil 6 could be titled Resident Evil Rising. Now, they originally scheduled Resident Evil 6 for September this year, but that was like an empty date. I mean, what I mean by that is, like, they stated that, but there was nothing to follow up on that. In fact, the movie isn't even being made, or there's nothing for the release of for that release date. So Resident Evil 6 isn't being released in September. Instead, it's currently in a very early stage of pre-development. Paul W.S. Anderson confirmed that it is happening and that Mila Jovovich is on board. Li Bingbing playing Ada Wong, she's coming back. And there's currently no release date. But the only things that we do know is that Paul W.S. Anderson wants to bring it back, and it's tentatively titled Resident Evil Rising. Alright, so hopefully they make that happen, and hopefully this will be the last one. Moving on, let's talk about movie news in Quentin Tarantino films, and that is, well, you guys know about the whole fiasco that took place when one of the actor's agents actually leaked the script to the internet, and because of that, Quentin Tarantino just got completely just angry about that, and he decided to scrap the entire project and decided that he'll write a book about it instead. Write about a book about the Hateful Eight as opposed to writing a book about the actual event that took place. But looks like he decided to write a new draft for the Hateful Eight. So the script that got leaked out will be actually different from the new one that he's writing. He's gonna write. He's gonna take the original concept, but he's gonna rewrite it in a way that is so different from the original draft that when people watch this movie and have read the original script, they'll still feel surprised. So that's happening, and I'm glad that it's happening because I wanted to see that movie get made. It's unfortunate that it happened, but at least I'm glad that Quentin Tarantino overcame, and it will be happening. Hopefully it's going to start filming soon, but as far as I know, they're going to start filming next winter, so winter of 2015. And the last little bit of news that I got to talk to you about is Star Wars Episode 7. And Simon Kinberg, one of the screenwriters for Star Wars Episode 7, said that Star Wars, the Star Wars films rather, this new trilogy, Star Wars 7, 8, and 9, will not draw from the expanded universe. Alright? The video games have drawn from the expanded universe, the comic books, the novels, even the animated series, but the movie will have all new original characters and will follow the timeline of the films. So they won't be bringing any characters from, for example, the Timothy Zahn novels, or the comic books, or even Shadows of the Empire. They're not going to bring in Dark Empire Rising, or what's that video game called again? I forgot what the video game is called, but anyways, they're not drawing from the expanded universe. They're going to be writing all new characters, and essentially this is a continuation of all the episodes. This is, after all, called Episode 7, and then there's going to be Episode 8 and 9. Alright, so just letting you guys know that we're not going to be seeing any expanded universe characters. It might be a little bit of a disappointment to some of the hardcore Star Wars fans, but it's also good to know that having all new original characters expands the universe in itself. So that is still pretty cool to me, but it's always kind of a controversial when they tell us things like that. Alright? Especially since Star Wars is such a huge fan phenomenon, and it's such a huge culture and such a huge universe that I know a lot of fans would want to see some of their favorite characters from the expanded universe, but unfortunately that's not happening. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this video. As always, if you want to talk about any of the things I discussed, leave your comment in the comments section below. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings about anything that I've talked about. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation, and check out my photos on Instagram at The Ragin Nation. I'll see you next time. Peace. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to say that I think The Dark Knight Rises is at the top, and then The Dark